Okay, so that was for trends, Google Trends, BuzzSumo, and the good old-fashioned stuff of just out of your head. So some of the stuff that I wanted to bring out is the fact that Google Trends is not perfect. There's some times where, in fact, I've seen it where I will literally run one search and run the same search 10 minutes later and get totally different information. So just know that you're not freaking out, you're not doing anything wrong. It's just the way it is. It's a flawed system, but it does have good information. Now BuzzSumo is much more stable. I haven't seen that like jump around like the Google Trends does. Google Trends, though, is a very powerful tool for getting data in the past. You can see like if stuff spikes during a particular season, and knowing that is very helpful when you're doing your marketing. If you know there's going to be a big spike and something's going to trend year after year after year, you can count on that. You can take advantage of that. So Google Trends, it is a great tool. It's just a little waffly. So know that, take advantage of it for what it's worth. BuzzSumo, I pointed out there the influencers tab. That is a really powerful part of BuzzSumo, is finding out who is sharing that stuff, and not only that, but who has your followers, who has your audience following them. And if you haven't kind of pieced that together, that's a little word called joint ventures. And that is a great way to get the word out on your products, especially if you haven't done advertising yet, you don't have a big ad budget, and you want to get the ball rolling. If you find out who the influencers are in your market and you can get them to get behind you, you can get major play off of that. Some of them just are in it to share the content and they just like the soapbox. Some of them are in it for the cash. Those are most likely the ones that you're going to get to work with, is the ones that are in it for the cash. They're easy to find because they're doing all kinds of promos for people. So when you find those, you want to connect with those people and just ask them simply, what would it take for you to promote me? And they're not shy. They'll tell you, I want 50% or I want this. They'll give you the parameters, and if that will work for you, then that's great. That's a great joint venture partner, because they've got your audience and their audience is attentive, because if they're sharing their stuff and they're showing up in BuzzSumo, that's pretty good. Like Neil Patel there. Neil is very much centered on his own stuff, so I don't know that Neil in particular would be a joint venture partner. You'd have to have something that was complementary to what he's doing, and he's doing a lot of stuff, so finding a complement to that might be kind of difficult. But there's a lot of people out there that would be complementary to what you're doing, and it should be fairly easy to find them. I have made a tremendous amount of money in joint venture deals where I'll do a webinar with somebody, we'll promote a product, and then send them to a special page that is their page, and it tracks the affiliate commissions. I've done I started doing those in about 2008. And I couldn't believe how much sales they would bring in, and it's instant. It's like you get to the end and you make the offer and you just watch the checkout thing go ding, 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 and it's pretty cool when that happens, especially the first time. That is a very addictive type of thing to happen. So the other thing about when you do those joint ventures, and I know this is kind of off our topic, really a little bit of trends, but I want to make that clear too. When you do the joint ventures, make sure that you follow up, because there'll be a lot of people that don't show up for the webinar, or they don't see the email, or whatever. They didn't get it the first time. So make sure you've got a follow-up sequence that brings them back around. Always record anything you do. Always record it so you can send a replay out. I did a joint venture with Chris Armanson for a software that I sell, and we got more sales off of the replay that we sent the following day than we did off the live event. And we made a pretty good sales day on the live event. So it's just like we more than doubled our money just by sending a follow-up email. So pretty cool stuff. You want to make sure that you get that in. Also, we have another tool that is somewhat similar to BuzzSumo. It's not quite as robust, but it's a program that I actually bought the rights to, and we call it Trend Dominator. It's a little glitchy as well. It's pulling from other sources, and sometimes they're out of sync or they're not updated properly. But you can, if you want to try that tool, it's available to you as in the members area. It's called Trend Dominators. You'll find it under the SEO Dominator membership. But just know it may not work. It may work, depends on what computer you're on. I doubt it's going to work on Macs. So just kind of know that going in. And if that doesn't work, no problem. Just use the BuzzSumo. Also, I mentioned templates in there. Templates is a good thing to give away to go viral. If you're trying to create viral content down the line when we get into creation, let's say you've got a list of really cool stuff, anywhere where you can make a template, templates really are good. Templates get shared. Templates draw people in too. You can get people to opt in for templates. A perfect example of that is Russell Brunson created ClickFunnels around sharing templates. And I bet you he's got well over half of his customers from free templates being given away. Because if you think about it, it's brilliant on his part. He gives you a template that you can't use without running his software. So I can almost assure you over half of his customers, half of his clientele got there because they got somebody gave them a free template. And that also is great for affiliates. If you give your affiliates free templates to give out and then people sign up using the template and they get the affiliate commission, they absolutely love that. So getting people to share templates, something that is consumed and creates cash flow, that's a phenomenal play. So wherever you can, try and do that. Also, and again, this is kind of more related to the creation portion of trending, is the ability to have people share it for you. And the whole call to action of just telling them to do that and incentivizing them to do that. And what I mean by that, there's a lot of programs out there that will track shares. So if you have that on your site and you have a share button, you can tell them, share this with so many people. And if you do that, then it unlocks another piece for you. You give them another piece of bonus content that they don't have access to unless they share. So that's a really good idea too. So kind of coming back to to following the trends from a research perspective, it's kind of like a brainstorming tool. It's going to give you feedback based on what you think. And that's what you want research for. You want to validate what you think. So these tools are a great way to do that. If you think something is hot, put it in. Put it in Google Trends and see what it says. Put it in BuzzSumo. See if it's real. Validate the fact that it's real. And if it's not, kind of poke around in there and see what is. Run some other keywords through. Run some generic keywords through and see what else comes up. Do that in Google Trends. See what the related things are to that. You can also lean on your keyword research. If you've done keyword research, you can kind of lean on that to see what's trending in the most popular keywords. What content's being shared around the keywords that's most important to your ideal clients. That's kind of the way I would play that. And it's kind of like a cat and mouse game. It's like, to find out what keywords you got to kind of guess and play. To find out what trends you need keywords. So I know some people went into trends without having any keyword research done originally, and they had a lot of trouble with it because they didn't know what to put in. So if that's the case, if you haven't done any keyword research and you don't know what's hot in the market or what they're searching for, then that's where you're going to have to use the good old-fashioned intuition and just put in what you think and see what happens. But if you can do the trending research after you've got a little keyword research, and you really should have keyword research done to a point at this point, because when you set up your Google account, that was one of the first things that we did, was go in there and create your account to do research. And that really was the beginning of keyword research right there. So by the time you get here, you should know some of the main keywords, some of the heavy hitters that'll help guide you in that trending process. So you guys have questions? Is there anything that's unclear about this, or any problems that you've run into, or anything of that nature? I think this one is pretty straightforward, but let me know if you got feedback, if you've had trouble with it, or if you've got questions about how it works. Or there's other programs too that will give you this data. BuzzSumo is that's an industry tool that's very well known, very respected throughout the internet marketing community. And it's a little bit more on the expensive side to buy it, but the free version is going to be just fine for what you want to do. And if you hit the end where they say you can't use it anymore or whatever, you used it too much in a day, sometimes you can just put it away and try it again tomorrow, and it'll give you more results. Or you can get an IP system, it'll rotate your IPs and just try it again. Yeah.
One thing I was just going to point out to people that may not be have experienced the frustration with Google Trends is now, well, they're under the related topics. There's top searches for related, and there's also rising topics for related.
Okay.
And so that'll give you an idea of rising topics that are associated with, they may not have a high value yet, but that they are on the way up of the search volume.
Okay. Yeah, that's another thing to know also, is the interface for all of these tools. They may not be the same as in the video when I recorded it, because that's something, this is a moving target. Everybody is always improving. That's one thing about the internet. It does not stand still. It's like a can of worms. So I can't go back and keep redoing the videos. Just know the concept is always the same. They may change the interface. So don't freak out if you log in and it looks different. Just, look for the same buttons and the same process. And they're always improving. Sometimes you'll see there's new stuff, there's cool stuff, and that's great. Don't think you're doing anything wrong. Just know it's going to change. So it's the concept that remains the same. So it's that strategy of why we're doing it and what tools we use. That's the tactics. The tactics can change as long as you accomplish the strategy. So other questions? Daniel, looks like you have your hand raised. I just unmuted you.
Hey, John, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
I got a couple of questions. First one, using BuzzSumo, I noticed in my industry, a lot of the viral content was merely articles, no video, not really any videos or anything other mediums. Am I to interpret that as if I were to create viral materials, it would most likely be an article?
Well, that is certainly intel for your industry. It's telling you that that's the only place that they are currently. That doesn't mean that's the only place they could be. It could also be that your industry is not really in social media that much, and that might be why they're not being shared there. So not to say that it couldn't be, you could always try it, but it's you're doing more of the attorneys, right?
Right.
Yeah, so I could see how they're probably not as public in social media as some other niches. But not to say that you couldn't try. I mean, you can create, let's say you created an infographic and you went to share that, like how to, let's say you did an infographic on how to choose a dog bite attorney, or, whatever it may be. And it had, it detailed out all the things that you need to know and you need to look for if you're going to hire an attorney for that particular thing. And you put that on Facebook and it was cool. People saw it and go, oh yeah, I got bit by a dog one time. I want to share that. And then they share it and it gets shared and shared and shared. And all of that stuff leads back to you, all back to your lead magnets and stuff. So it might just be they haven't really thought of a way to do it yet. There's a lot of industries that are way behind on internet marketing. They haven't caught up yet. So doesn't mean it's not going to work, doesn't mean it's a bad idea, but look at the articles and see if there's anything that's trending in the articles that maybe you could create more content in different formats and give people, more opportunity to consume it.
Got it.
I think videos and infographics those are two of the big ones, that people like to share because it's information based and they're rich. It's richer content. If it's just an image, with some text on it, if it's cute, they'll share it, but otherwise probably not going to get shared very well.
Thank you.
Sure. Yeah. Trending stuff is generally related around great content of one form or another. And I had the list of the different types, and humor is one of them. If you get something that's it's too funny to keep to yourself, people will share it. And as long as it carries a message that relates to your marketing, that's awesome. It could also just get you noticed. It could be one of those things where you share it just to get notoriety, get people to know you and like you. And then when something comes along that's more marketing oriented, they might pay more attention to you. So.
Okay. Got it.
All right. Cool. All right. Any other questions? No.
Hey, John.
Hey, Mary Sue, how's it going?
Well, okay. So I am on Google Trends as we speak.
Okay.
And I am trying to figure out what in the world my results mean. So
what's it telling you?
Well, it tells me, wow, I have a hot product here, I think.
Oh, great.
Well, I don't know whether it is or not. I mean, I don't know from what they say. So I started with just searching for, apparently you can't put the same term in if you do a comparison, right? You can't.
Correct. It has to be a variation of that.
So I started with, I ended up expanding on the one that was read all over the place. It's like everybody in the world is interested in this. Well, that was no surprise, right?
Yeah.
All kinds of people have the problem. So then I added dietary supplement, and I'm going to compare that to hypothyroidism, right?
Okay.
And so now they've got the red, which is the problem, and is in a red 25 line, but way up at the top we have got, on just below 100, all kinds of people looking for a dietary supplement, which I am assuming is for the problem. Is that what that means? They're not just looking for any dietary supplement, or they are looking for the one for the problem?
If you've combined the words and it's like a hypothyroid dietary supplement, then that's exactly what they're looking for.
I wasn't allowed to use the same term in both.
You can use variations, like if you put hypothyroid and you put hypothyroid supplement or dietary supplement, you can do that.
So what I have is dietary supplement and then hypothyroidism compared. So I'm going to compare the two of them, right?
Okay, well, just the generic word of dietary supplement would give you something completely different.
Okay, so what they wouldn't let me do it the other way. I'm going to edit that thing and see if I can come up with something. So
If it won't let you compare, you can just do them one at a time and you can see the results and just note them down.
okay.
But yeah, don't do generic terms if you can avoid it.
Okay.
The closer you can get to what you're actually looking for, the more accurate you're going to get.
Well, they weren't happy with me when I did that, so that's why.
Well, if they, like, let's say you did hypothyroid dietary supplement, there might just not be anything trending on that, and that's okay. You would just know that.
It's like there is almost zero interest.
Okay, so yeah, so that tells you something.
Everybody is interested in hypothyroidism. Nobody is interested in a supplement.
Yeah, that may just tell you that they're not aware that there's a dietary supplement that fixes the problem.
Oh, I can tell you they're not aware.
Yeah, no, that's not a bad thing, but it's important for you to know.
Okay, so let me just put it. So let's see what happens. Well, clearly the way I'm putting it in, they don't like it, but there's a lot of interest, so I just need to figure out how to tap into the interest that they actually acknowledge, right?
Yeah, and really you're looking at you're just looking to see if there's anything that is on an upward trend or just trending across the board to begin with. BuzzSumo might give you a little better results too.
Okay.
If you go into BuzzSumo and you put in hypothyroid dietary supplement and see if there's anybody, that might actually tell you if you've got influencers in the market that might be able to help sell the product for you.
That would be interesting, huh? Okay, buzzsumo.com. Did you say this one has a free version to start?
Yeah, they'll have a free option to try it out.
Okay.
And I don't know, when I was using it last, they didn't require me to even create an account. They would just let you use the search bar right off of their homepage for a few searches a day.
Okay. Okay, so enter a topic. There we go.
So that one might give you some better results. But you can also, did you do keyword research on this in the beginning?
Oh yeah, I used to have a Google and did a bunch of stuff.
Okay. So it might be good just to kind of take your keyword list and just keep popping them in trends and see if you see anything that catches your eye. And you won't be able to do that with BuzzSumo. You'll have to kind of pick and choose a little closer because you only get so many shots at it before they want you to buy it.
Okay. So, geez, I don't know. It says the total. Well, there's nothing here that really catches my attention that says, wow, these, at least they're out there, but I'm not sure that I'm looking at anything that I feel has a lot of value to it.
Okay.
I don't know how they pick up the information, but it's not like I'm looking at something I say, wow, that's really what I need,
Yeah. So again, don't think you're doing anything wrong if there's nothing there. That's just the way it is. And again, it doesn't mean that you couldn't put something out there that actually may go viral. The information, that's important information because it has to do with people's health. So when somebody finds something that is health worthy, they tend just to want to share that stuff as well. So you have opportunity there to create good information and share it out through those communities. Especially, you've got a lot of social media channels to plug that into, because you've got a lot of people that are in groups that have that problem that are talking about it. So if you go into those groups and you shared an infographic that explains something that maybe they didn't know, they'd be probably pretty apt to share that.
Okay.
So you might be able to create the trends instead of looking at what the trends are. You could be a trendsetter.
Well, that wouldn't be bad, but I mean, a lot of people, there's doctors that are coming into the field now, whereas they weren't there for years and years, right?
Yeah.
But it's simply because now they have the same problem. But they've got a medical bent to it, you know. So
Yeah.
so they're sharing the stuff that they consider to be, you know, natural solutions, but you know, it doesn't.
Well, that is a perfect example of an influencer that you might be able to connect with and have them endorse and push your product for you.
Oh, so I can look at influencers here. So I'm now looking at trending in it, right? And so I'm just going to go down the list of all the different things, because now I see them across the top.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, those influencers, that, you know, if you could find a doctor's endorsements for, you know, for that type of thing, anything that has to do with health, that's a phenomenal endorsement. They can make some money off it, and, you know, they can push your product for you pretty well.
Well, I think the ones that I would get the references from already, they sell our products themselves, right? So it's not like they're going to send
okay.
to me.
Well, that's even better. You might want to do a webinar with them and get a recording of you and a doctor, you know, doing an interview and talking about the product. That would be phenomenal for your marketing.
I really can do that. There's one doctor that I talk to regularly, and she is just so cool. And I actually sent people to her. Right?
Okay. Yeah, I would say that would be a good piece for you.
Okay.
I would definitely be lining that up.
Okay. Well, not at least for me. I'm not finding what I'm after, but maybe I'm just not going about it right yet. So.
Yeah, just try different terms, and like I said, if you don't find anything, it doesn't mean that you've done it wrong. Okay. It's just information. When you're in the research phase, you're researching, you're turning over rocks, and you're seeing what's underneath them.
Okay.
So it's important to know that. Like if there's not trending information, there's nothing that you're going to miss out on. You have opportunity to create it. If there is trending information and you don't know about it, then you're going to miss out on that. Right. So that's the whole purpose to the trends, is to figure out, it's really to know your industry, figure out what's going on out there, because that could also it could shed some light on the beliefs when we get into the avatar creation. Knowing more about your market when you go into avatar creation will help you. Because when you get to that web analysis, the wants, emotions, and beliefs, that could shine some light on what they might believe in.
Okay.
So, all data is good data. Even if it's no data, at least you know there's no data there. So,
okay. Thanks.
All right. Anybody else? All right, last chance here. All right. Well, I think we did pretty good on the trends. Do you have something, Daniel?
Yeah. Quick question. I've noticed when I'm doing my results in my industry, I'm getting a lot of results from like India or outside of the United States.
Okay.
How does that? Should we look if our customers are primarily in the United States?
What that might be is publishers in those other countries that are doing internet marketing for other companies. There's a lot of SEO providers that write articles, and a lot of them are in India. A lot of them are in the Philippines. So if you're seeing trending articles that is from India in your market, it might just be they're doing articles for SEO purposes. Now, that's okay. It doesn't mean that's good or bad, but if it's trending, then that's good to know. Wherever it came from, it doesn't matter. But they might have made it for an SEO thing to drive traffic, and they threw it out there, and all of a sudden it got popular on its own. So that's really good intel to know that that particular subject matter is what's hot.
Got it.
All right. Okay, anybody else? All right, well, we will go ahead and wrap up trends. So that was good. I think we got some good info here for everybody as they go through. So again, thank you guys for participating in this part of the program. This is really valuable for everybody as they go through the ACT program to have this Q&A session here that they can refer to. So let's get back here next week, and we'll continue the process. Thanks again. Have a great night, everybody.